once again we'd be playing Maryland, and if I remember correctly, they have Evan Hardaway, who is definitely going to be a problem. He was a problem in the high school game and our previous matchup. We did win the first matchup, and I'm pretty sure I had a pretty good performance during that game, as I've been playing pretty well during the season. I do remember that they did have Wally Tucker, who's a pretty good power forward. So hopefully we can once again beat them. This is about like the third or fourth matchup I've had with Evan Hardaway, and we've matched up against each other quite a lot of times. I go up in the post to start out the game trying to score, and I'm able to bruise my way in and score the first basket of the game. He gets the screen from Tucker, but I'm pretty good at dodging screens. We end up getting the steal, and I'm there on the fast break. I find Gibson, who takes the mid-range, but he ends up missing. Hardaway has been a pretty good rebounder for us, as that's where he's gotten quite a few points off rebounds and second chance points. He's not really too good at anything else except really rebounds. I'm able to get the assist to my teammate Wallace, and we're up 6-0 to start the game. They give it to Tucker inside, and he tries to give it into Hardaway, but it fails. Gibson's already on the fast break, and we have a 9-0 lead. They've been playing some good defense, and they haven't really been able to get anything going. Their passes haven't been too good either, because we've gotten quite a few steals off them. But Wally Tucker lets out all his anger on top of Franklin Shepard. Gibson gets inside and finds Shepard, but Tucker plays some good defense. Hardaway would give it to Sims in the corner, their center. Taylor would have the ball, and he'd try to look for someone who's open with 2 seconds left. They're forced to take a three, but it is one of their good three-point shooters as they make the shot and brings it down to a 4-point game. I find Hardaway in post, and he elbows Sims away, but ends up getting stripped away. I try to get back to defend, but I end up getting dunked on, and pretty impressive play as he pulls it all the way back and slams it down. I call for the screen from Shepard, and didn't really work too well. I give it to Hardaway, who takes the mid-range, and he's not good at making those. He's not known to make mid-range or jump shots in general. Walters would have the ball, getting the screen from Tucker. He'd give it into Sims with a little bit of a flashy pass. I end up leaving Hardaway open, but I'm able to get back to contest. I get out of the paint before I can get a 3-second call. And I give it to Hardaway. He takes the shot inside, and as I've said throughout the game, that he's not good with jump shots, as Hardaway hits the dunk, tying the game up. we'll see if we can get anything going as I tried to dribble by Hardaway, but plays some good defense, so I give it into Shepard, who this time is not blocked by Wally Tucker. I end up stripping the ball away, and I tried to dive for it, but my teammate ends up picking it up, and it stayed Maryland ball as he stepped out of bounds to try and save it while keeping it in play. He gets me with the fake and moves in a little bit for the mid-range shot. He's been averaging a pretty good amount of points, 20 points per game. I move around a lot to try and get open, but Hardaway is able to stay with me as he's normally used to moving around a lot on the court. Gibson forced to take the contested shot, but he misses. But I get the board and get the second chance points. Rebounds hasn't been too good for me as I haven't really gotten too many. Taylor ends up getting left open, but we get lucky he misses. I was unable to get the rebound, and Walters ends up drawing the foul. The foul would end up being on me as I had tried to stop the basket, as I was kind of upset I didn't get the rebound. Poland would be in the game, and he's one of our bench guards. Walls would have the ball and gave it to Hardaway. I got an open in the paint, but by the time they got it to me, I was contested. I still took the shot anyways, and good thing was I made the shot. Hardaway tried to get open, but he couldn't really get too open. Taylor would drive in and take the mid-range shot, and that was not the best shot to take as he missed it. I give it to Hardaway, who hits the contested shot over Hutchinson. Taylor would have the ball and give it to Tucker in the post. He takes the mid-range shot and misses, but once again an offensive board for Maryland. I take the three-point shot, but I didn't get the shot to go. I haven't really been too good shooting the three. Taylor would try and drive on Poland, but he passes it to Hutchinson. Hardaway takes the contested three, but hits it over me. I drive in and get the layup to bring it to 3-point lead. I'd end up still being in the game as Maryland brought in a whole new group. We'd end up getting the steal, and I would be playing power forward. I take the three, but once again I miss. They seem to have a pretty big lineup out there as they have a lot of power forwards out there, except for Hardaway and Weber, as Weber gets the lob to Evan Hardaway. Lonnie Hardaway was able to get inside and score the basket off my assist. They have a pretty big lineup as their shooting guard pretty much is Evan Hardaway, who's not that small, and Hutchinson's pretty much a power forward. They're able to tie the game with a 3 from Weber. I call for the ball and try and make something happen with the shot clock winding down. I tossed a behind the back pass to my teammate Watanbe, and he's able to hit the 3. It's a pretty smooth pass to him, and it worked out pretty well. I'm able to defend my person pretty well, and I give it to Watanbe, who takes the floater. I haven't really seen too much of him, as I've been on the bench when he was out on the floor. So I don't really know what he's really good at, as Hardaway misses the shot. I drive in and take the dunk, as Arthur didn't really try to defend, as probably would have been embarrassed by me. He did come over to try and put his hands up, but it didn't really work. Hardaway puts up another 3, and it goes once again. It's the thing about Hardaway, he can just take over a game. I tried to get the pass from Watanbe, but ends up getting stolen, and I tried to get back to block Hardaway, but he ends up getting the basket anyways, and it'd be a tie game with the first quarter coming towards a stop. Young would have the ball and get the screen from Hardaway. I'd take the shot with the shot clock expiring. I'd fall to the floor and I'd try to block the shot. It almost went in, but it ended up just barely missing. We'd be tied going into the second quarter. I'd be subbed out and I wouldn't come in till 5 minutes left in the second quarter. I'd drive inside, but I couldn't get the shot to go. So I'd be guarding someone who's pretty small, way smaller than me. I'd be guarding Stockton. He's not that tall. I don't know why they put him at small forward. I'm able to get the board, and I start the fast break as I give it to Pullen, who takes the open mid-range shot and hits it. Stockton is way smaller than me and has no height really. I take the open mid-range because I don't really know, but I just felt like it. Try and get my jump shot working a little bit. And of course, if I miss, then I could just get the rebound, as nobody was up the court off the steal. Walters tried to pass it inside, but once again, we're on the passes, and I'm all the way up court with the slam. Taylor will have the ball, and it gets stolen by Poland. Wallace would get the layup on the fast break, and he would hit it. Taylor would bring up the ball, and he has not been doing too well. He gives it to Hutchinson, who I end up poking the ball loose. I tried to get into the paint to help with Walters, but I was unable to stop him from scoring. I set the screen for Poland and just head towards the paint, as the defender was lost where I was. We've been doing pretty good down the stretch, and Stockton would get the ball, and they've been passing it around this possession pretty well. Tucker tries to drive in on Grantham, but they're unable to get any points there. As I drive by Taylor and get the acrobatic layup to go as Maryland calls a timeout. We've pulled out to a 11-point lead. We've been doing pretty well on this down this 5-minute stretch, and hopefully we can keep it going and have a good full 5 minutes instead of just a good 3-minute. I'd be guarding their power forward Tucker, and that would make me believe that I'm at power forward, as we had Shepard out there, and typically when Shepard's by himself, it means he's at center. I got the rebound, and I tried to cross over Tucker, but it was more just that he was guarding me way too far to the right or the left. I forget which way. They give it to Tucker inside, but I'd block him. Poland would be there for the rebound, and I'd find Shepard on the fast break to score it. We've been going on a pretty good run to end this half. Taylor would give it to Arthur, and they're trying to pass it around. They give it to Tucker inside, and I block him. I thought he was going to put it up again, but he doesn't, and he waits a little bit to put the shot up. I'd try to post up, but he wouldn't budge. So I just gave up on that. I called the screen from Shepard, and I try to give it into him, but it ends up getting stolen, and that'd be a turnover. Hutchinson was just waiting in the paint just to get the ball, and that'd be their first points in quite a bit. I gave it to Shepard as I thought he'd have momentum moving up the court, but he didn't really have too much. I give it to Young, who's in the corner and was open for like a little bit, but I'd take the shot inside. That was pretty contested, but I was able to hit the shot over Tucker and a few other defenders. I'm way smaller than Tucker, and that's quite a disadvantage when dealing with this. Taylor would have the ball and dribble it out as he starts to try and get something going. I get another block on Tucker. I just give it to Poland, and it's not worth taking any dumb shots. Trying to do a heave when it's not really necessary. Hopefully we can keep this lead going into the last half of this game. Hardaway has had 16 points, and he's of course been doing pretty good. That's kind of what I've expected. I'm trying to show the scouts that I can really play pretty well. I'd be kept in to start the third quarter, and the hope was to get a win. We'd end up tipping the passes. They haven't really been having the easiest time getting passes around. Hardaway would get the open shot, but that misses. I'd get the open three on the other end, but my three-point shot has not been that good. Shepard would be inside, though, to get the 2 points. We'd have 3 defenders all around Hardaway, and of course he would miss the shot. But I would take a bad shot on the other end, as pretty much same situation, but with 2 people surrounding me. Once again, a bad pass from Maryland as I give it up to Shepard. I call for the screen from Hardaway, and I try to give it to him, but it gets stolen. I'd be there to contest Evan Hardaway's shot, but it ended up being a foul. He'd hit the first, and if he hit the second, it would bring it to 40. It'd be a 13-point game, and this time I would bring up the ball. I call for the isolation as I want to work on Hardaway. I end up just giving it to Walls, who gives it into Hardaway, and he's not good at hitting mid-ranges. Hardaway gets me with the fake, but he misses the shot. I try to go on the post on Hardaway, but he won't budge. I just couldn't get by him until I went with the spin move, but I missed the shot. That kind of was not the best possession. I tried to get into the paint to guard Sims, but he gets the post hook shot. I try to dribble by Evan Hardaway in front of their coach, trying to embarrass. I end up getting left open for 3 though, but I'm 0 for 3 or 4, which I don't remember. But I'm able to get out to contest Hardaway. I get the foul on Sims, and that would be his 2nd of the game. I've been shooting pretty good at this free throw line, but I'd miss the 2nd one, and it's pretty frustrating. I try to help with Weber, but he still gets the shot to go, bringing the lead to 10. I call for the screen, try and take a 3, but I haven't been shooting that good from 3. I'm there to contest Hardaway, and I get really upset trying to get towards the ref, but my teammate holds me back, and I'd be subbed out. I'd be brought back in with about 2 minutes left. Immediately once I'm subbed in, I'd give up a easy basket inside. Maryland would be on a 9-1 run, and it's still a pretty decent lead for us. I end up taking a 3 once again and miss. I get back to my defender and hopefully try and stop them from scoring. And there's be 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Hardaway would be forced to take a terrible shot, and I'd be there for the rebound. I find Poland in the corner, but it doesn't do anything. Shepard would get the ball stolen from him, and Weber would be there on the fast break. I'd try to defend, but Shields would end up getting the foul. I give it to Poland, who's in the corner. It's at the screen, but it wouldn't work too well, but they wouldn't switch on it. Young would take the shot, and he would hit it. As I haven't really been doing too well, so I'd be hoping that my teammates will help. I'd be there to contest Walters, and it would be a foul on us, as Maryland's next game would be against Penn State. I'd get the rebound off the missed free throw and find Wallace all the way on the fast break. The pass wasn't too accurate and it was a little bit off, so he had to catch it and he was stuck where he was. I was able to get inside though and help him out and get the bucket. Walters would get the screen from Arthur and pass it to Arthur. We get the steal and Poland would take it himself and dunk it. Kind of almost over Wallace, our teammate, but Wallace didn't flinch at all. Walters would just hold the ball for the rest of the quarter. Poland once again would get the steal and he'd bring it up. I'd get open for three and I hoped to get a three to go to end the quarter and maybe change how it's going, but once again another miss from three. I've not had too much luck from the 3-point line. The assist of the game would go to my teammate Poland, who had given me the ball off the steal. I'd set the screen for Poland and he would drive in, fake the shot, and give it to Shepard. Walters would get the screen from his teammate Hutchinson, and instead of driving, he'd fade towards the 3-point line. I tried to draw a pass and get the steal, but instead Tucker just gets the easy basket inside. I get a little reaction from Tucker, but I haven't really been able to drop someone to the floor off an ankle breaker, as I easily get by my defender, as he didn't even pay attention to where I was. Weber would bring up the ball and he'd give it to Walters. They'd be passing the ball around quite a bit and setting quite a few screens. Hutchinson would get open inside, but it would miss and Shepard would get the rebound. I'd find Poland in the opposite corner, but it'd be a 2-point shot as his foot was just on the line. I leave Tucker open as I know that he's not a 3-point shooter. I move up to defend him on the mid-range though, because that is a possible shot that he could hit. With 2 seconds on the shot clock, Arthur's forced to put up the shot off Walters losing the ball, but they got lucky there as it just rolled to Arthur and he got it up and with enough time to put it up. I go in the post as Walters is not that big. I knew I had the mismatch and I just immediately went and posted him up. Walters would pass it to Arthur off his screen. Walters would take the screen from Arthur and just head towards the 3-point line. He'd be forced to take the contested 3 and I'd be there to get the rebound. I'd give it to Wallace, who'd try and work on Walters. I'm unable to get by Tucker and I just give it to Shepard. I set the screen to try and get Young open, and he wasn't really open, but he was able to get the mid-range shot to go, fading away a little bit. I try and trick them by staying out of bounds and then running in to get the block, but instead it was just an easy basket for them. I'd fake the spin move and drive in, but it failed. I'd be guarding Arthur, and I believe I'd be put at power forward. I'd end up using my 4th foul, trying to reach in and get the steal. I'd be put in small forward, and of course I'd be guarding Evan Hardaway, as he had just gotten subbed in. I was able to get in pretty easily as I used my behind the back move to get in. Hardaway would take a pretty bad shot and miss it, but Tucker's there to get the put back. I'd give it in to Shepard, and I'd be open, but it'd be too risky of a pass. Gibson tries to get inside and was able to get it over Walters. They're both 4 for 6, but one of them has a little bit more points. We got a little bit confused on who's switching on who, and who knows. We didn't even know who was switching, and Hardaway ends up fouling Sims, and he randomly jumped after it for some reason, which I really didn't understand. I have to spin around to get the pass, but I'm able to get in. It's kind of a little bit of a blowout. They'd set the screen on me, and Hardaway would try and get open. The ball ends up getting poked out of bounds off of Gibson. So it'd be Maryland ball still. Walters would have the ball, and I'd get the steal and go on the fast break. I'd lob it up to Shepard, but my lob pass was not that good. It ended up landing in Gibson's hands, and I tried to pretend that that was actually a pass to him, but didn't list as an assist. Taylor was able to get by Gibson to get the easy slam inside, but at this point, the game's pretty much over. Hardaway would get the ball inside and hit the shot over Sims. The one thing about Hardaway is he moves around a lot, as I end up leaving him open for the mid-range. Like, I've been getting pretty tired over this game trying to stay with him, and then also trying to get stuff on the offensive end, so that's 2 factors tiring me. I'd be forced to take a terrible shot, and I'd of course miss it because it was such a crazy shot. But Hardaway took a crazy shot as well, as he tried to spin around and post hook in a very interesting way. I just give it to Hardaway as I've been having a little bit of trouble. I gave it to Wallace, who is forced to take a really deep shot. Shepard gets the rebound and puts up the second chance shot and hits it. Took him quite a bit to put the shot up, but eventually he put it up. I've been doing pretty well this game. I just try and do whatever I can to impress scouts. And jumping on fakes would not help, nor would giving up open threes. I give it to Hardaway and get the shot inside, but it was contested by Hardaway and one other defender. I'd be there to get the rebound, and I give it to Poland to my left. I try and get in to take the shot and hit it, but it ended up missing. And I just take the shot off the second chance. This time Hardaway would go with the reverse layup, and he'd hit that as well. I'd find Hardaway open inside, but he misses the shot. I try to pass it to Shepard, but the pass gets stolen. I try to get out, but I was unable to get there in time. Luckily, he missed the shot. Sims would be called for the loose ball foul. And once again, I'd make a terrible pass, and Hardaway would be out there on the fast break. I give it to Hardaway inside, and he would get fouled by Sims. Hardaway hit the first, and he also hit the second, which really surprised me. Hardaway would miss another shot, and I'd get a double-double as I'd get the rebound. I'd almost lose the ball off it, but I didn't. I was able to recover it, but I missed the shot as I drove in. Hardaway would make the layup on the other end, and it was more just stats and stuff at this point. I try to give in to Shepard, but it's up being a foul on Shepard trying to get the ball. I'd be subbed out and then brought back in with 14 seconds left. Sims would take the mid-range shot and he'd miss it. I just hold it for the rest of the game, as there's no point of putting up a shot, as I really haven't shot that well. Be a pretty good game, as Maryland kind of came back a little bit to not make it a blowout, but just make it a decent game. Hardaway had 33 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers. And I had the exact same amount of points, but I had a double-double, almost a triple-double, just missing 2 assists. I had 2 steals and 3 blocks, all on Wally Tucker. And then also 5 turnovers off passes, and I did not hit a single shot from 3. I went 0 for 8. Shepard had 14 and 9. Hardaway had a double-double, 14 and 11, which seemed to be a trend over the recent games. Everyone else didn't really do too much as normal. And for them, other than Hardaway, there was Tucker, but he got most of his off easy shots inside when he got left open. He had a double-double, though. Weber had 12. Walters had 11. And not much else from anyone. So, it was a pretty good matchup, and I forget who would be playing next, but who knows.